What's so unusual about these energies is that it's catching people off guard, and many are not aware of it consciously, and many are experiencing a surge of upheaval. So in today's video, I'm going to be sharing with you how this could be showing up for you, because there is a shift happening right now, and it's very, very powerful. And what you can do to navigate your way through this, questions that you can explore to help you prepare for the coming months, and in particular next year, 2024. Now, these waves of energies have the power of bringing to the surface anything like itself. And you might find yourself feeling, okay, wow, where is this coming from? I thought I dealt with it. Or looking at old and current relationships differently. Or sudden feelings of sadness and grief. And that's a big one, because it's not always about looking at death in the literal sense, but of the old self, of your old life, a career, a relationship, or a chapter in your life. Feelings of depression where you find yourself crying for no obvious reason. You just feel like it. And that's okay. Just remind yourself that this is trapped energy that needs to be released, and that you are letting go of something, even if it doesn't make sense at that time, or you're not sure where it's coming from. But in that moment, you let it happen because your body is ripe for releasing it. Instead of pushing it back and falling back to those old patterns and going back to reaffirming those old behavioral patterns. And I've noticed this in my own life and people around me, and also people getting in touch with me online, saying that they're moving through some weird energies, and it's a very uncomfortable experience, because what we're moving through, it's letting go of old patterns, old energy dynamics that needs to be released, because wherever you are heading towards your vision, towards your goal, that trajectory of your timeline, of your highest timeline, requires you to release and let go of these old energies, those familiar known patterns that are no longer going to serve you for where you are heading, because it's like going through an upgrade ascension process. And along with all this, emotions, feelings will come to the surface. So allow yourself to move through them, allow yourself to feel through them, but be conscious of your behavior patterns and not to linger in those for too long. And also be conscious of not attaching yourself to a particular outcome. You know, it's just about going with the flow of things and knowing that this is just a temporary phase that you are moving through. This could also be part of ancestral programming that has been with you, because as you transition from one level of consciousness to another, you release old karmic cycles and lessons. So this whole process is like death and rebirth, as new beginnings are often disguised as painful endings. And as you level up vibrationally, you are presented with an opportunity to choose change and to redefine your story. For example, a few weeks ago, or at the beginning of October, I was on my high-flying disc, as Abraham Hicks likes to call it. And then out of the blue, I find myself feeling insecure. Now, the root of insecurity is fear, and it's shaped by our past experiences. So when this feeling kept popping up of feeling insecure, I just kept pushing it away and just tried to just carry on with my life. But then in one of those moments, I found myself instantly having an internal dialogue in the way that my old self would, from that place of insecurity and from that place of fear. Now, this could have gone two ways. My old self would have grabbed onto that fear, grabbed onto that insecurity and ran with it, going into victim mode and survival, living and reconfirming those old behavioral patterns and going back into autopilot of that old programming. But my conscious self, instead of running away with it or pushing it back down, was like, okay, why is this coming up? Now, when something keeps entering your life through thoughts, patterns, or circumstances, it's because it needs to be brought to your awareness. And if something keeps entering your life, the universe wants you to grow. Part of your being wants you to heal it with your light of awareness. And this is how you shift your identity and shift your reality. When such things keep entering your life, it's like a reminder of what you no longer need or want, Or it's like reminders popping up on your phone, or things that you forgot to do on your to-do list that are now popping up, that are now coming to the surface and that are ready for you to release. And you might find yourself saying, oh, I remember that feeling, I need to let it go. I need to release it because now is the perfect time to do that, rather than holding on to it, falling back into those old patterns, into autopilot of that old programming. So for me, that feeling of insecurity coming back up stems from my childhood trauma. In that moment, you've got a choice to make, a very conscious choice. So it's really crucial to be conscious of whatever's coming up and to be conscious of the choices that you make and which direction you go into, because that will confirm the trajectory of your timeline, your current reality, and how you move forward. So the really important question is, how are you choosing to respond to whatever is coming up? Are you using this to motivate you to pursue your dreams, or are you using it to stay stuck in that low vibrational frequency? So it's what you do with it that matters. And I want you to remember that certain frequencies will also give you certain outcomes. So it's really important to be conscious and aware of whatever is coming up for you. So it's for you to decide, are you going to fall back into those old behavioral patterns, reaffirming that familiar known reality? Because it's easy to just skate by in life, living unconsciously, distracted by external things, living busy lives, worrying about all this other stuff. So it's really crucial for your soul's growth to be conscious of your thoughts, patterns, and your behaviors. Are they suitable for who you are now? Are they suitable for where you want to go? If not, then something needs to change. And as you go through this process, releasing and letting go, you're constantly changing and growing, being reborn again and again. And that's a whole rebirth process. So give your time to be paid. So give yourself some time to meditate, to journal, to do automatic writing, to turn inwards and ask for inner guidance from your higher self, from your guides. Anything that helps you to bring clarity and to move forward. And I want you to remember that all this stuff that's coming up for you is not a bad thing, believe it or not. It's there for you to grow. You are meant to be here. You are meant to go and do this new thing and birth this new thing, this vision that you can see in your mind's eye. This is just your higher self's way of clearing this space for you. So I really can't stress the value of this. So acknowledge. Give yourself permission to stop the momentum of whatever's going on in your mind. Bring your awareness to it. And be conscious of whatever is coming up and the emotion attached to it. And then allow yourself to feel and move through it. And I don't necessarily mean just quickly just shut it down, because it will still be there, dormant, and it will just pop up again. But this is a perfect time to allow yourself to move through that, paying attention to it. And then with time, when you are ready, release and let it go. And it might not happen straight away, but be patient and be gentle with yourself as you move through this process. And then you will start to see shifts, little shifts happening in your life. So with these intense energies, I had to really give myself permission to rest and rejuvenate, even though my mind was like, right, you need to get another video out. But it wasn't happening anyway. So I had to really bring myself back to neutrality and back to acceptance, to learn to go with the flow of things and just focus on being and enjoying life, appreciation and having gratitude for all the other things in my life. So no matter the pace that you find yourself at, know that you are being led to where you need to go and that you are meant to be doing this. And the really important thing that I want you to remember is that there's no such thing as falling behind, especially when you are honoring your own personal timeline. So trust in the divine timing of things and give yourself the permission to do so without worrying about the external, and let the universe do the rest. Many people will also experience relationship shifts, and this is coming up very, very strongly as well. And we'll also have the theme of death and rebirth filtering down into relationships, whether it's new beginnings, transformations, or endings of relationships. And ending doesn't necessarily need to be a bad thing. It could mean that you are moving up, you are leveling up because the dynamics of a relationship are changing. And things need to be released, things need to be changed so that you as a couple can move ahead and evolve at a different pace, on a different wavelength, for example. Or perhaps a new relationship enters your life because the old one has now served its purpose. But again, in that moment, you have the opportunity to be conscious of your go-to patterns, especially if there is a heartbreak and an ending of a relationship. So be conscious of what your go-to patterns were. And if you are feeling in that emotion of heartbreak, allow yourself to feel through it, but try not to linger in that negative emotion. And just think about the polar opposite of that heartbreak, where there's happiness, blissfulness, and what can actually come out. Because when there's something ending, there's always space for something new to enter your life. Or you may hear from an old friend who you haven't heard from in such a long time, and that person has now suddenly messaged you, and you might be thinking, well, is this something that I want to start up again? If not, then that's okay. Again, it's about honoring who you are now and where you are heading. So be patient and allow yourself to go through that, and to give yourself the time to process through those questions of whatever comes up. Don't be in a rush to quickly reply. Give yourself the permission to slow it down. Or you might find yourself reminiscing over the old days of how your life used to be, of how much freedom you used to have to go and do what you need to go and do, because now you've got tons of responsibilities, you've got families and, adult responsibilities. So with that, feelings of fondness, sadness, heavy emotions again will come to the surface. But again, look at the opposite end of that spectrum where you might be feeling sad and stuff, but it's okay to feel that. But again, look and appreciate what you've got in your life now. Have gratitude for all those things in your life. And more importantly, how much you've grown from all those past experiences, all that stuff that you've released and you've let go of. How much you've grown, how much you've evolved as a spiritual being along your human journey, and where you are now. Because I'm sure you wouldn't want to go back and repeat any of that stuff. So you are at a time and a place in your life where you can make a choice and tap into that highest timeline of your life. These energies are so powerful that they will force you to look with honesty at all relationships and your behavioral patterns. And underneath this, it's the emotions and the feelings attached to them. And it's this frequency that will determine how you move ahead and the choices that you will make. So it's really, really important to become very clear on what it is that you want and what's important to you, your values, because your behavior, your day-to-day actions and your reality rests on these values. So it's important to be conscious and wise as you go through this process, because it is a big deal and it will affect you very, very deeply. And I'm not saying this to alarm you, but to really give you the clarity and to make you aware that emotion is energy in motion. And if you want to create a change, then you must do it from a level of energy that's greater than, say, shame, fear, unworthiness, guilt, any of those low vibrational stuff. And you do that by bringing your awareness to that sweet spot of that present moment of now. Because when you do that, you become conscious of what is happening. You slow down that negative momentum of resistance, and you bring your awareness to now. Or you may find yourself looking at a relationship that you've separated from, and this could be a parent, a sibling, or a friend, or a romantic relationship that you thought might last forever but has now come to an end. But again, you look at it with all honesty and you know in your heart that it couldn't be what you thought it would be, and it has served its purpose. So here it would be wise to make peace with that ending, to look at it with compassion and forgiveness, and with the understanding, with that deeper understanding of soul contract endings, and that everything has a time, a place, and a role, and it has served its purpose. And this one was a big thing for me, and this one was a big one for me because it was about a parent relationship that, came out the blue for me, because I thought I dealt with it again. But it came up out the blue, and it came up with a lot of heavy emotions, which I had to work through, which I had to go and process and, and release and cry about, because I had to release that energy out of my body. And in my heart and with honesty, I had to look at it with the knowing and with the understanding that it could never be what I wanted it to be. And it still can't be, no matter how much I try, because it's come to an end, whatever it was, and it has served its purpose. And with that deeper understanding that my higher self came to have this human experience, and it has led me here on my spiritual awakening journey, on my spiritual growth. And it's never an easy thing, and it certainly wasn't an easy thing to go through. But again, it's looking at it with honesty and again, understanding of who you are now, because you're not the same person as you were 3 months ago, yet alone 3 years ago. Who you are now and where you are heading is a different person. Or you may find yourself moving away from someone who leaves you feeling heavy, drained and frustrated, who just isn't on the same page as you anymore or the same wavelength, as you move towards living more authentically, more in alignment, more in tune with yourself. It's like clearing your energy field of the old as you step into the new you, focusing on who you are, beyond all this stuff, because we're all being upgraded with these high frequency energies. So it's a big time for a radical change as you move through these energies, trying to match the frequency of the reality that you're trying to create and manifest. So as you step into that, ask yourself, who is this new me? Who am I as I step forward trying to create this new reality as this new me with this higher conscious way of thinking? Because it's one thing knowing and understanding that we are being upgraded and shifting into higher frequencies, but it's also time to consciously take control, take action, and be conscious of your choices and your decisions. Your higher self will bring to the surface anything that you need to release and let go. The universe is giving you an opportunity to open up your senses to a whole new world. It's like going through a purification process, clearing your energy field of the old. So you can ask yourself some of these questions. What am I allowing myself to feel? What is it that I want to create next? And will I let it in? What am I holding back, or what is holding me back? Then whatever comes up, you can work on that. What am I choosing today? Is it in alignment with where I want to go, with the life that I want to create? The life that I want to have. All of this requires awareness, patience and work. So be gentle and kind with yourself as you move through this process so that you don't get swallowed up by the rabbit hole. And you can do this intuitively, in meditation, or journaling when your mind isn't so busy. And be curious as to what comes up and how it makes you feel. But remember that it doesn't mean that you necessarily need to act on it straight away, but it's just about bringing it to your awareness, because that is when you can make a change, create that shift. Then you can hold that limiting belief or that thought in your mind and then think about what it is that you do want to feel. You know, it's like that polar opposites. And then you can act in accordance with that new thought, with that new belief, and move forward with that new frequency, creating a different outcome and stepping into the now. Because when you step into the now, well, that's where new energy is available for you to create from. And that is how you then shift and create and move forward, especially over the coming months, and prepare for 2024 as well. So as this shift is happening and as the earth moves up in vibration, this new age of energy floods the planet, and it's having a profound effect on everyone because we're all connected, we're all one consciousness. It's the law of one as nothing is separate. Hence the reason why we're experiencing such a surge of upheaval in every aspect of our life. So it's really important and really crucial to be conscious of the choices and the decisions that you make moving forward. And please let me know in the comments how you find yourself moving through these intense energies and what you are doing to help yourself. And I really hope that you found value in today's video. And please like and share because it really helps my channel grow and expand as well. And I will see you in the next video. Take care. Much love. Namaste.